Happy Saturday, happy Saturday. Wiley here checking in live from the couch. How y'all feeling today? Today I felt sad. I was thinking melancholy, but when I was looking up the definition of melancholy, it seemed like it was saying something about, the inability to pinpoint the sadness. And I can pinpoint why I'm sad. I'm sad because tomorrow is my father's birthday. I'm sad because I can't call him and wish him happy birthday. I can't, send a card. There's not a drink, food, anything that you can get outside or inside that numbs the grief that I feel about that. Um, yeah. It's like, and I'm just very aware of it. I also realize, I'm not trying to numb my feelings today or push through. I'm just navigating that, holding multiple truths. That it's true that I feel sad about that. Yet it's true that, I'm continuing to soldier on. So is my mom and my brother. I'm also, holding the truth that, while colloquially I know we say, well, no one gets out of life alive, or you say within Christian faith or perhaps other faiths, earth is not our home. It's also true that sometimes those statements don't bring you any comfort because you just want your loved one to be here. I don't want my dad here because he can help with the care for my brother and my mother. I just want him to be here. And yet I realize as I watch my mother aging and aunts and uncles that are aging as well, they're 70 plus, and I realize that it doesn't matter if you're near, close to them or far from them. You don't get to control the aging process or the fact that at some point they'll no longer here, and how in my own life I was never imagining a life in which they were not here. I know that's probably unrealistic, but I wasn't. And then sometimes it's also a rational thought because I'm like, there are a lot of mean spirited, problematic assholes, and sometimes I say to God, you couldn't pick them up. But that's not right or fair either, because everybody, even the problematic assholes, means something to somebody. There's somebody out there, babe, family, friend, some even Jesus, that loves them deeply, deeply, even though they can be, because me, you, us, we have that ability, that propensity to be problematic too sometimes. So we're not perfect. We're not angels. So just holding on to multiple truths. What did I do today? I woke up this morning. Like I said, I acknowledged that that's how I felt. I listened to some jazz. I made me a great breakfast. I made this I basically put pico de gallo, eggs and cheese together, and some salsa. And I made skillet toast and bacon. The skillet toast I used was the keto bread. Let me tell you something. Now, normally the keto bread in a toaster, I don't really like that because it just dries it out. But skillet toast, keto bread. I see you, Auntie Ann. That was good. That was very good. Very good. Very good. With apple jelly, because it was a childhood thing, at my grandmama's house. So perhaps I'm missing more than just my father. I miss my grandmother, Gandhi, and being a kid during the summer and you sitting in the kitchen eating Fruit Loops and toast. So that's probably where that comes from, So there's that. And then I was trying to decide what was I gonna do, and I couldn't figure out anything that I really wanted to do around the house. So I had been really wanting to go to the movies, but there wasn't anything in the cinema that existed. So I realized there was Egbert Fest. You remember Cisco and Ebert, and they used to do the movie critics and movie reviews. They're no longer with us, but apparently he went to school here in my city, and they had a whole festival of movies from Monday till today. And I kept seeing this one about Albany Road. So I went to see that today. And it had Lynn Whitfield. It had Jay Alphonse from P Valley and this other actress. They said she was in. I know her in, know her face, but I can't remember what her name is. And she was in Hamilton and a bunch of different various scripted TV series. So the premise of the movie is they Renee has this big meeting of her career, and she's going to New York. She's flying out to try to go to DC for this meeting because she works in marketing. And unfortunately, when she gets to the airport, they're canceling flights because of the impending snow that's coming to the area. So she tries to rent a car to try to drive down to DC. And when she's at the renting a car, she runs into the problem of her ID is expired, and they have another lady that's behind her that's trying to rent a car, and the rental, car people are like, hey, when your license expires, we can't rent the car to you. So the next, thing we do is rent the car to the next person. And the next person happens to be Paula, who's Lynn Whitfield. And as we discover in the theater or whatever, that's her ex-fiance's mother. So they begin this whole story about their drive to DC, and then the weather is horrible. She can't get to the interview. Well, that the big marketing meeting that she had, and they stop at Paula's cousin's house, which in turns to be this lady named Carol. And Carol, I can't remember her name either, but if you watch the Tyler Perry movie with the two sisters with Lynn Whitfield as the mother, she's one of the daughters. So go find that movie. I can't remember what it is. I remember, they had the wedding scene because there was a lot of people in that movie. So was it a good movie? Yes. But lately these days, a lot of directors, movie writers, they use grief or passing of a character and grief, or just passing of a character or beloved characters in the story. And I think for me, where I am with grief today, I was just another day to sit in the theater and boohoo. But I also realized I really thought deeply about what it was that made me sad. And for me, what came up for me was not being able to say goodbye, because I remember the experience of, the coroners there at the house, and, giving me time to, say anything or just be with my father. And I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to pray. But I also remember the silence of the house, and just the silence of time at that, period, that had happened, that you're realizing that this person is gone. And just unexpectedness and suddenness, and not really liking that, and how all of those things come up for me when I get ready to go visit my mother again, as I'm doing later this month, or just in general, because you realize, like I said earlier, there's no space or place that you can go far, or in their vicinity, that stops death, that stops aging. So there's no fix, there's no resolve, there's no ability to make it go away. You have to navigate it. So that's what I was, thinking about during the movie. Other thoughts, I don't know what it is about white men sometimes that, tap you on your shoulder to bother you. Like, the movie took a minute to get off to the good parts and get off to the really, meatiness of the movie, as any movie, no matter if it's independent or whatever, does. And this white man tapped me on my shoulder to ask me, could I put my phone away? Is that a white people thing? Because I'm often thinking, fellow white people, please come get your people. Because I was like, sure thing. Did I put my phone away? But he didn't come back and bother me. But I was also thinking, I don't need this type of trouble. A Black woman has written and directed this movie. Her name was Christine Swanson. And, she was already at the front before the lights went down to introduce the movie. And after the movie, she was going to, be available for people to talk and have questions and stuff like that. And, I support and love Black women. Being a person that is assigned female at birth, even though I have no connections to femininity or womanhood. But hey, I realize multiple truths, or complexities and intersectionalities in identities of myself, and just wanted to respect, other Black people's work, and not cut up in the theater or cuss this man out. And, I ain't want to do any of that. But it just comes up for me because I think lately about how, white men often bother me. Not often, but there have been recently over the years at least 3 to 4 times of situations with white men. And I'm like, sir, stay in your seat. Mind your business. Because, it would be one thing if I was holding my phone up, listening to videos, or I was just sitting in my seat, watching my phone wasn't ringing. But I don't really have to have an explanation of what I was doing with my phone. It's you in your seat, minding your business. And whose business was I minding? Mine. So anyway, that was just my experience. But other than that, the movie was decent. And that's my update. I'm navigating grief. Navigating the complexities of the fact that I feel multiple things, a lot of emotions, big emotions. Yet it's also true that I feel joy. that completed a semester and getting to complete a semester and passing my qualifying exam and having meetings with my advisor and committee about next steps, about summer travel, about spending time with my wife, about spending time with family and other family members and friends, like my mom and my brother and cousins and stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. So it's just the complexity of living day to day and facing that, how grief comes up, how grief manifests itself or shows up for you and you feel it, and then you go see a movie and they're talking about it because this is like the second movie. Origin did the same thing with passing the characters. And sometimes, I don't know why grief is a tool. It's something that happens in real life, and it brings up a lot of reflection and insight. And I've often said, I remember saying to my wife some years ago, I often ask, could there be something else that we could learn insight from other than death? I don't know. I don't know. But a lot comes up for me on that subject. But anyway, I'm gonna quit rambling and go eat dinner. I hope that wherever you find yourself, whatever it is that you're doing you're taking care of yourself. You're being the best you possible. If nobody's told you they love you today, I do. Take care. Peace.